domestic violence have a face? Anyone? What do you think?
Yeah.
It has a face as in one?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Yes.
It has many faces.
It has many faces. Could you just look to your right for me, please? The paintings that are there on display are all real cases of domestic violence. Now allow me to applaud our artist, Mr. Anderson. Please stand. This is the very talented artist that did all the paintings. As well, we also have another member from CADVA here, Anthony. Thank you for your support. Mr. Budram at the back. Thank you, Hanan. Good. The first painting there, that's Miss Sukri Budram. She is the founder of CADVA, a survivor of domestic violence. Second painting, that's my painting there. That was the series of one called Faces of Domestic Violence. We have the other painting there. That was another real domestic violence case in which it ended up in a missing person, being a missing person case. Now, I'm going to share my story because in order for me to share my sister's story, I must be able to tell you what I have endured as a survivor of domestic violence. I call myself survivor. Why? Because I've lived it, I have went through it, I have endured it, and I have victoriously overcome it. I'm still in the process of overcoming, I should say, because the thing about domestic violence is that there's no ending. The pain, the humiliation, the shame, the trauma, and trust me, the panic attacks are always there. My case resulted in me losing almost 90% of my sight to the right eye. Nevertheless, I was able to regain some amount of it, of which I'm thankful. Now, the thing that we have to be very, very concerned about is the kids who may have witnessed such a tragic experience. My son was 4 years old. He saw when I was being attacked from behind. He tried to signal me. He tried to beg his father, who was attacking me, not to desist from the act. But of course, in the range of whatever he was going through, it did not do any good there. Now, here I have an 8-year-old child who is now 8. He lives almost every week having nightmares. He's waking from his sleep. He's kind of like, it seems to me from his reaction that he lives it from time to time because of what we'll see. And another thing that he does is tend to blame himself sometimes. Now, these are things that we need to be very careful with. Domestic violence doesn't only affect us as women or men, but what about the persons around us? What about our children who may have seen us go through such an experience? And we're thinking that we're staying because of them. But my brothers and sisters, are we really helping them by staying in an unhealthy relationship? Are we really sending the right message to them when we stay there? We continue to pretend as though everything is okay, and they're seeing otherwise. These kids go among their peers and they talk about things. So what I would like to encourage you this evening is to be a voice for those who think their voice has been taken away from them, by simply breaking the silence and saying no to domestic violence. There are many programs, as you've heard, and organizations available for people who would want to share, or persons who may want to come out of the situation and think that that's it. Their world begins and ends in that particular situation. That's not so. So I would want to implore you to please speak out, break the silence, and say no to violence, because as we all know, domestic violence has no face. It could be the face of our mothers, our sisters, our neighbors, and who knows, most times, in some of the cases, we end up losing the lives of our women. In Guyana, domestic violence is very, very high. Persons who have personal connections there can tell you. There was once 1 week in which we had like 5 deaths. And these are women. I'm not saying that our men are not going through it, but our women are the ones who are coming forth and speaking out, which is a good thing. At first, it was kind of tabooed. Persons thought it was an individual problem, it was a family problem or a community problem. But the good thing is, through the awareness programs that CADVA and other organizations have been doing, people are recognizing that the concept of us thinking and becoming complacent with the thought of domestic violence not being my business. It's a nation's business. Moreover, it's a global epidemic that's destroying our individuals. Think of it. It's your basic human right that a person is violating when they decide that they're going to strike you, they're going to curse you, or they may simply tell you nasty words that make you feel inferior. That's something that we often overlook. Because I'm not being hit, persons may think that, you know what, this is not violence, but think of your self-esteem. Think of how it makes you feel different about yourself. And the thought of you thinking, I'm worth nothing, I'm worthless, when you really are worth more than any man or woman can give you. So I implore you to please do what? Break the silence and say no to violence. Not just domestic violence, but violence in general, because it's an unaccepted behavior. Thank you very much.